making bacon today. It's queenstatic here, and welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, we've rebranded over the last few weeks, and this is going to be the first video in a long series of videos. I want to do this one first because of the fact that I'm going to be looking at getting a digital camera so I can do more of the other funny videos that I kind of have planned. But yes. So I just want to talk because it's audition season for music schools. I mean, it has been for a while, but right now is like the prime peak time for auditions for music schools. At least here in America, it is, or for schools that run by semesters instead of trimesters. You know, those types of things. Whew, there's a lot to college. But this is my experience in music school. Actually wearing one of my sweaters today of a school that I wasn't in school for music for, but we'll get to that later on in the video. Basically, wow, I last edited this on December 26th. This is how long I've had this planned out for. I do have like a script up in front of me because I have ADD and I tend to go off topic a lot. I tend to say a lot and things like that. So I want to stay kind of focused. So I do have a script written out. I mean, you can call it a script if you want to, but whatever. It's to keep me on task essentially. But yeah. So let's get into this. So if you guys don't know, I still consider myself a performing arts major because I never actually finished my performing arts degree. There's many variables to this. A, I live in the state of New York, which is one of the highest taxed states in the United States. B, girls gotta have health insurance. I mean, technically, I don't think I have to now, but I prefer having health insurance because when you have accidents like cutting your thumb open, yeah, it's important. And C, I don't know. I feel like I just need things, you know. I'm just making sure that it's recording. I've only been recording for 2 minutes. It feels like I've been recording forever. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, so if you don't have your degree, why are you giving advice on YouTube? Listen. Do I have to talk about all the numbers of people that claim to be vocal coaches that have never stepped foot in a school of music before? There's one person that I used to watch all the time. They haven't uploaded a video in a while, but they used to talk about nasal airflow, which I assume is the mask resonance, you know, in the front part of your face when you're singing. You use mask resonance sometimes. But they're talking about nasal airflow, and when you're a singer, you never breathe in through your nose. Oh my god. Like, come on. But like, I've excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. But it baffles me with the amount of people that are giving singing lessons on YouTube that don't have the pedagogical experience or the credentials in pedagogy to be able to give the advice. I'm not giving voice lessons online. I'm basically just talking about classical music and being an opera singer and things like that on this channel. You can take advice from me or you can leave it, and that's where it is. You know, I might give some advice on like certain things with technique or breath or things like that because it's important. It's important for everybody to know that singing. Yeah, so, but you know, we'll talk about vocal coaches on YouTube in another video, another day, if that's something you guys want at least. But I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a singer. It sounds really funny, but my parents have a video of me bopping up and down in my diapers singing along to Barbara Ann from the Beach Boys. If you don't know, it's basically ba 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 the whole time. So I was singing along to that, and you know, everybody tells you that coming from the city, at least that I came from, everyone tells you it's not possible. And you guys have to remember, I grew up in a time when the internet was in its infancy. I guess you could say that. Yeah, it was in its infancy. I mean, we didn't have YouTube until I was probably in high school, at least. I know how weird that sounds, but literally, that I'm ancient. Not really. I'm not that ancient. I'm not that old. So, you know, it was very hard to do things like that. If you were a good singer, you had to go out and gig, you had to do that type of thing. And I always wanted to be a pop singer. You know, I wanted to live in LA. I wanted my name up in lights. I wanted everybody to see every part of me. And, you know, it, it kind of changed for me in high school. I uploaded a video to YouTube. Paramore had a contest to be on their album, but I was too scared to submit my video, so I submitted it after. And it got around school, and I was the laughing stock of school. I I've never really had a great support system, except for maybe a few friends, and my current, like, two of my voice teachers were like my support systems. But I've never really had a great support system going into it, and I feel like that was a big like key factor in why I had a bad experience and a good experience with music schools. But let's flash forward to the summer of 2008. Yeah, I told you I'm old. I graduated in 2008 from high school. 12 years strong, still don't have a degree. Um, and I knew I needed to audition for music school. I was very set in auditioning for music school. So I found this guy in like a city away, and he was giving me voice lessons. And I don't know, there was something about him, a little weird. But he never showed up to my audition, and in my script I have, so I took lessons from some random dude who stiffed me at my audition, literally stiffed me at my audition. um, and I sang Greensleeves and probably like Caromeo Ben or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember what the other song was, but I remember Greensleeves very vividly. And of course, I obviously didn't make it into the school music. And I'd always been an alto up till this point. Like all the choirs that I'd been in, or choruses, or whatever you want to call them. If you talk to the former dean of my, or the current dean of my school of music, he'll tell you choirs, church, and chorus isn't, but the terms are kind of mismatched together in the vocal world. But you know, I say Carmio Ben because it came out of the 24 Italian book. Like that's vivid in my mind. But I'd always been an alto up until this point, and I was told that I was a soprano, that I was singing the highest notes sopranos could sing. Girl, at that point in time, I didn't know what the highest note a soprano could sing was. Like, come on. Come on! But I think at that time I was more of like at the mezzo-y range where I could sing alto and I could sing soprano, but my upper register wasn't the greatest because I didn't know how to get to my upper register at that point in time. I have my notes. For those of you that don't know what a mezzo soprano is, it's an alto that thinks that they're a soprano. Ha! Hashtag vocal music jokes. Literally. That's how some people think of mezzos. You know, mezzos are just, they're basically, the easiest way to describe mezzos in a tone that's not joking is they're kind of between an alto and a soprano. They can't necessarily go as low as an alto can, but they can't go as high as a soprano can, like a true soprano and a true alto. So they're kind of stuck in between. So some of the mezzos are stuck in the soprano section, and some of the mezzos are stuck in the alto section. So it's kind of like a mismatch of soprano and alto, but not quite. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But yeah. And I write after the joke, I wrote, no, I kid. But yeah, like, there's a lot more vocal major jokes coming up in future videos, so I hope you guys like it. There is a video on the Royal Opera House's YouTube channel that shows about different voice types, and it talks about mezzos and altos and sopranos and tenors and bass baritones, and we glom bass baritone together too, but baritone is essentially like the mezzo of the male voice. but I can talk about voice parts in another video as well if you guys want me to. But at that time, I had no clue how to read music. I couldn't sight read. Still can't. Oh, excuse me, that cough of mine. Jeez. Yeah, I couldn't identify chords, intervals. I couldn't do singbacks, and it was true. I couldn't identify chords. Like if they played a C major chord, I couldn't identify that was a major chord, or an augmented or diminished, or my ear wasn't trained to listen to that. Now, I had previously played flute in school. It wasn't very long because I didn't practice, so y'all better practice. Why you guys watching this video? I'll go practice. But it was. I even rate overall it wasn't the greatest audition of my life. And listen, I'll tell you about a worse audition a little later on, and I will, because I'm gonna talk about my audition process, in this video as well. I have like 15 more minutes to film this video. I don't even care if I'm late. No, I do. I'm a musician. I care if I'm late, because if you're late, you're fired. But you know, I forgot where I was. What I was talking about. Oh yeah. And I couldn't do it, so I got into this program that this is a community college at this time. I got into a program that the community college offered, and it was a certificate program. So essentially, what you did was you took, I think you're supposed to take 1 year of classes there, and you were supposed to get your certificate, and you could move on into the performance program, or for us, it was performance in SRT, or sound recording technology. And we only had those two, A, because we're a community college, and B, because apparently you have to be a performing arts major to learn about pedagogy. By the way, if you guys don't know, pedagogy means teaching, or like education. But yeah, so I got into the certificate program. I took sight singing, ear training. I took music fundamentals, which is like a basic music theory. I learned how to read music, and it was just like, I had to learn key signatures. I didn't even know key signatures going into this program. And for a lot of people, when they go into music school, they have this experience, and I didn't, because my support system. Not only to mention, I was considered learning disabled. I had classes that helped me in high school, even though I graduated with a Regents diploma. People said I was stupid. But yeah, it's okay. And when I auditioned for the program, I wanted to do sound recording technology because at the time MySpace was a thing, and I saw that this girl went to Berkeley, the Berkeley School of Music in Boston, and she was majoring in, like production, music production. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's something I want to do. But we'll get into why I'm a performing arts major in a little bit. So, it changed. It changed for a while. I auditioned, I think, 3 times, or 3 more times, and the third time I got in. And I auditioned in the fall, so I got in the spring semester. So I couldn't start my core classes till fall semester, which made no sense to me, but whatever. So, right after that audition, I actually got very, very sick, and I had to have 2 courses of antibiotics. I lost my range completely, so I went back down to being like a legit like alto. And luckily my voice teacher at the time, she was amazing. She still is amazing, And I hope if she ever sees this video that she knows how much she inspired me. But like she sang at the Met, she went to Juilliard, like she was legit teaching at a community college. But yeah. No, she really was legit. Like she's very good. She's a very good mezzo slash contralto. Contralto is basically somebody that can sing tenor as well, a female voice that can sing tenor. But yeah, so she really helped me to build up that lower voice. And my first audition, or not first, my first recital, because at this college we have what they call studio recitals. So it's not, the big half an hour or hour long recital that is typical with a school of music or conservatory. It is the whole department. And for us, the vocalists were split into two because there's so many. That, and I think, what was it? The pianists, I think, might have been split into two as well. There was a couple different ones that were split into two because there was so many. By the way, we didn't have very many string majors. But, so, you know, whatever. I couldn't hit the G in the G above the staff. I always forget what number it is. I think it's G6 because I think C5 is middle C, right? So the next C would be C6. That would be on the staff. So I think it's G6. I'll put a little picture of that section of the piece that I sang in here so you guys can get what I mean, you know, if you guys don't read music or something like that. But yeah, I couldn't even hit that note. And, you know, for an SRT major, you wouldn't have needed it. But I wasn't an SRT major. I was a performing arts major. And let me tell you a little bit about this. I got told by one professor that I needed to go up and change my major because I was never going to make it music. Then I got told by his wife that in order to be an educator, I didn't need to major in music. I could get my education degree and still teach music. Don't think that that's completely true, but they were trying to force me out of the music department. And girl, I got in, so please. But yeah, see, this is what happens. I have a brain fart. That wasn't even in there. But you know, the G6 isn't high for soprano, all that stuff. But I feel like my voice teacher at the time made me really enjoy performing. You know, getting out there on stage. I think it was my second or third recital that I really felt like, you know, that I needed to be on stage. Oh, I love it. I love being on stage so much. I love being the center of attention. But yeah. So I kind of skipped around a little bit from my script. So let me just find out where it was. I was really bad still at oral skills. I was one of those people that you would probably call tone deaf. And at times I still am. At times I'm still training my ear. And it's really, really hard because I'm 100% sure that I have, like, PTSD from my oral skills class. That was rough, let me tell you. Okay, we sang the phone book first of all. It isn't horrible, you know, we should be able to sing the phone book. But like there was no constructive criticism. There was no like, okay, well, you know, maybe you can do this, or there was no, you know, oh hey, I have office hours. Why don't you come to my office hours and maybe we can work on this? There was none of that. And I understand, you know, that should be something that we know as musicians, but some people don't. Some people just can't catch on to it fast. My favorite class was theory, though. My theory teacher was also the conducting teacher, wrote his own book for conducting by the time that I got into conducting. And he was the type of professor that hated violists and vocal majors. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Everybody hates violas. Who am I trying to kid? But, you know, to me, it was just the fact that, you know, how aggressive he was. You know, it was always like, if you get this wrong, then you're wrong in general. You know, it was always his way or the highway. We even learned a different, like, numbering system for the numbers, like C5, C6. That's why I'm so confused with numbers and numberings. But like, theory was really hard for me. I ended up getting a really good theory teacher, like a really nice, calm theory teacher, because I was made to take theory 2 like 3 or 4 times before I could take theory 3. Okay, I got like a B in theory 2. That ain't that bad. That ain't that bad. And you had to get a 70 or better to pass the class, so I'm pretty sure I was doing fine. I gotta hurry up though. I don't have much longer, and I gotta grab something to eat before I go. And like with theory 1 and 2, they teach you about counterpoint and writing chorales. Like we have a Bach figured bass that we'd get, and we'd have to write a chorale off of that. You know, that type of thing. Don't ask me about 12-tone music. I won't talk about it. I'll do the matrices, but I can't actually do the labeling on there because I have no clue how to do it. I wasn't shown in a way that makes my brain comprehend. I have ADD. I have processing issues. It's hard for me sometimes. But you know, that theory teacher was the same one that told me I needed to go to the career office, and he kicked me out of his office for asking for help on homework. I didn't ask him to do my homework. What I did was I asked him to walk me through how to do it. He could have given me a problem that wasn't on the homework or something that wasn't on the homework and showed me how to do it. I even have on here, oral skills is my favorite class. That's a joke. I'm 100% kidding. I hated oral skills 1 and 2. Oral skills was bad because, like I said before, he didn't really give you constructive criticism. He just go, wrong, wrong, wrong. But yeah, so that was my experience at community college. I ended up leaving that college twice. I'm never going back to that school again, especially because of the dean there now. Like, I can't. But 2013, I decided to move on to bigger, better things. I auditioned at 3 schools. One of them I got into musically, which was my last choice. Still is my last choice. The other 2 are pretty reputable in the state of New York. They are the Crane School of Music at Potsdam and Fredonia's School of Music. Shout out to Fredonia for giving me my confidence back. But it literally wasn't until Fredonia that I found out, you know, how great being a music major was. And that was, I'm gonna cry. That was like the best feeling in the world. But I decided, well, actually, let me get to the audition processes. St. Rose was the easiest audition by far, and part of that was because my voice teacher I had had at community college also taught at that college, St. Rose. And it's like my current voice teacher now teaches there. But that was my last choice school. My problem was is that I didn't get in academically at first. I had to kind of fight through getting into that. Then there was the Potsdam audition. I cried at that audition. I'm not even kidding. Just thinking back to that audition, they messed up my audition time. So the audition time I had printed out on a piece of paper that I'd brought with me was different than the time they had. So they almost didn't let me audition, but that was their mix-up, so they had to let me audition. They picked out a song that I was horrible at, and their sight singing piece is copywritten to them, and they expect you to sing it perfect. And I cried because I'm terrible at sight reading. Then we get to Fredonia. My choice here is I should have, my second audition at Fredonia, I should have actually auditioned for the education program. But I auditioned for Fredonia. I didn't make it, but I still went because, I don't know, I just felt something with the college at the time. So I majored in business administration music industry, so I know a little bit about copyrights, a little bit about contracts, so, you know, yeah. But that wasn't, you know, obviously that's not what I wanted to do. I auditioned for the choruses on campus. I got into women's chorus. That was amazing. The choral director there was great. We did Masterworks chorus as well. I think that was for three out of the 4 semesters that I went there. We did Masterworks. And that director was like the head of the whole choral department, and he was amazing. He was, during my choral audition, he basically told me that he wished that I could continue because I had a really nice voice, and he wanted me in the program. That never happened. I mean, as of right now, that's never happened. I don't know if I'll audition for Fredonia again. I don't even know if I'll get my degree. I want to, but like I'm on the fence right now. So, but you know, Fredonia was was great. You know, I went through 3 voice teachers at Fredonia. The first one made me feel stupid. And then he's like, oh, I got too many students, I can't help you. Because obviously I wasn't a degree major. I had to pay out of pocket. I still have to pay out of pocket for voice lessons. My second one ended up moving away for a better job experience, which is perfectly fine. She was really nice too. I really liked her. And my last one is my voice teacher to date, and he's phenomenal. Like, I gained so much confidence from him. It's not even funny. Um, you know, I'm learning. I learned more about my voice going to Fredonia, and I learned more about being a performer, being a musician, being at Fredonia than I did at the community college. And I know how silly that sounds because I wasn't a music major, but like I gelled in so well with the music kids. Like, I was in chorus, and granted, not everybody talks to me because I'm weird. I know that. I'm socially awkward. It's all good. I don't take offense to that anymore. But like, they made me feel so good about myself. Like, they were always so encouraging, and I'll never forget. There's this one guy when I went to Fredonia, and whoo, whoo, baby. Um, and I was sitting in one of our dining halls, and we have like our dining halls are weird on campus. You know, we have some that we can walk in and we can take food out of. This one's a sit down one, and I was sitting by myself, and he just comes over and goes, "Hey, can I sit down with you? I see you're sitting alone." And I'm like, "Sure, you know, yeah, that's fine." And his group of friends came. They were talking to me. They were laughing, joking around like we were old buddies. And I'm like, this is an experience that you want. Woo. Come to find out, he's a phenomenal singer. Like, whew, oh my god. Um, yeah. So, why am I crying? There's nothing to cry about. Ah, give me a minute. I don't have a minute, but give me a minute. Um, but yeah, it's like, oh, part of what made Fredonia so cool for me too was that I got to perform twice, at least twice in a historic opera house. Well, twice. I say twice, but it was like, um, I think we did like 2 shows the first year and I think 2 shows the second year. So technically, I performed in a historic opera house 4 times. I performed scenes from The Pirates of Penzance and The Enchanted Island, um, which has a lot of Baroque music in it, and obviously Pirates of Penzance is an operetta. So we did that, and you know that was great too. I love that. I miss that. That was part of being on stage. I really enjoyed it. I can't show you guys any clips from those. I do have DVDs from it, but I can't show you clips just because that'll get people in trouble, and I'm not gonna do that. But I also auditioned for the big opera that they had, and I totally botched my song that I sang, and like the lady that does the operas, like the lady that was head of the operas, she started singing my piece because I forgot the words. And when nerves take over you, that's what happens. Like, when you're playing an instrument, you usually have a bad habit that you get into when you're nervous. You know, maybe clarinet, you know, maybe you don't press down hard enough, or, you know, maybe you're shaking, so, you know, you can't do the embouchure the way you want to. But yeah, you know, I mean, my experience in music school overall was a good one. Like, I learned a lot, you know, so I can't diss that part. But just the differences between community college in a city where the biggest theater that we have is Proctor's. If you guys don't know, in New York, upstate New York, we have several theaters, and Proctor's is a big one in the capital region. We have Proctor's, Palace, you know, things like that. But Proctor's is in Schenectady. But, you know, it really was, you know, it was a good transition to go to Fredonia because I knew what I was expecting when I got there, but at the same time I didn't. I honestly didn't. And I'm kind of mad that, I never got into the program there, because I would have stayed there. I wouldn't have let people convince me to drop out. I really miss it, though. It really was good. So my ending, like, paragraph section that I have, it says, when you are planning on doing auditions at colleges, make sure you do your research. 100% make sure you do your research. Make sure that maybe you reach out to people that have gone to the school, or, read reviews on it, and take some of them with a grain of salt, because you can tell the people that don't actually apply themselves. And I wrote, I was in such a toxic environment that wouldn't let me grow, and finally picked a college where I felt myself grow musically. And that's true. Before I went to Fredonia, there was a part of me that was questioning if I should quit music, if I'm good enough for this. And going to Fredonia showed me I am good enough for this. I just have to apply myself in a way that I didn't before. And I even say, I know it sounds silly, but if you don't feel comfortable, don't stay there. So true. My goal is to prove the people that always told me I can't wrong, including myself, because I've told myself that I can't do wrong. And that's the number one person that you have to please when you're doing music, is yourself. I know we're our own worst critics, but we can do it. And I even wrote, this includes me. Okay. To be honest with you, I would go back to Fredonia in a heartbeat if I had the chance. Now, some of why I didn't pass the auditions is my fault, and it is my fault. I wasn't prepared enough. I didn't prepare my pieces. I didn't practice enough, and I'm still in an environment where I can't practice the way that I should. But I try. I try to make an attempt to practice the best I can with what I have and what I can do. I recently had an involuntary 3 months off, as you guys know, from work, and I was getting to the point as well that I was starting to kind of fall off the wagon again of liking music. I was falling into the wagon of listening to a lot of pop music and things like that, and I recently started to get back into musical theater and opera. There's a YouTube channel that I credit for it, but I don't want to shout them out because I don't want that clout. But it made me realize how much I miss music and how much I miss singing. I had my first voice lesson in months, almost a year, on Monday. It was like so weird to me. And in 2020, I want this to be a successful year for me. I'm going to do a video on my singing journey. I'm going to show you guys my very first YouTube video ever. I'm going to show you guys my first recital video. Maybe I'll try to recreate my first recital video. Well, not recreate my first recital video, but show you guys the difference from then until now. It's been probably been about 10 years or so since I did that recital. Maybe even longer, or maybe even shorter than that. Because I think it took me 2 years to get into the program, at least a year or two. So it might have been 2009 that recital was too. I don't know. It probably says on the front of it. But so many people were mean to me on my first YouTube video. It's like, it scares me to share it again. This is an Omeo Bambino Caro free channel. You guys might hear me talk about it a lot. You guys might hear me do reviews about it, because every child opera singer sings it. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's not a fun song for me, because it is one of the ones that's overdone. I don't know, just it doesn't vibe with me. Oh, look, I even have, if you guys want me to play an instrument. I feel like people underestimate opera singers, and we are musicians too. The only difference is that our instrument is living. Our instrument's a muscle. We have certain ways that we have to take care of our instrument. How do I put it? Our instrument is a diva in its own right. And, when people talk about how annoying opera singers are, yeah, we are kind of annoying at times, but, like, we're also, we have to work on our instrument. When we're sick and we don't talk, we're on vocal rest. That's something that we have to do. That's how we take care of our instrument. we have to warm up properly. If we don't warm up properly, we can strain our vocal cords, we can get nodes, we can do, like, all this stuff can happen. You know, you drop a violin and you crack it, and you crack it in certain spots, you can't play that violin anymore. It's the same way with the voice. If something happens to your vocal cords, you might not be able to sing again, or you might have to have surgery to repair what is wrong. So we'll get into why you should take opera singers seriously in another video. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all my uploads. My uploads should be every Sunday, unless otherwise noted on my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. Maybe Snapchat. I don't know. But whatever social media is listed in my description box. If there's something on there that says there's no video this week, I will post it on there. I'm trying to get better with this. I'm sorry. Work life has me a certain way. But yeah, so do all that stuff. And remember to share a smile today. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.